So, guys, we were told to check Twitter today because it's absolutely blown up, and it is entirely due to this tweet out by Chris Bootman. So, hold tight, Bootman, amazing content creator.
Each and every time.
One of our homies as well. He says, the boys at Code Deco Snap hit rank 1,000. So, we did that yesterday.
We did.
And the responses on this have been wild in variety. We're just going to go through and address some of the issues as well, because a lot of the community are raising concerns about how the matchmaking works. So we just wanted to give our input on it.
Yeah. So we're scrolling through these comments here. We've got the first one from Not a Cultural Fit, said, with Modoc, even more impressive. Which is, we were using Modoc at the time, it's true. It's true.
But we use a lot of decks.
Yeah, we do use a lot of different decks. And especially in high MMR, which a lot of people don't realise is it's a different way of deck building. So whereas during your ladder climb, say 70 to 90 or to 100, you wouldn't really be using a point slam deck. However, point slam decks are pretty good in the higher MMR of things.
Yeah, once you're over rank 140-ish. So Mr. Vader says, more power to them. I don't know how I could ever find the time to go beyond 110, let alone 1k. But don't get me wrong, I'm hella impressed. So appreciate the kind words. But this is one of the points as well. We do spend a lot of time on this game, and it's been a long, long grind.
Yeah, just to address a couple of things that people think that we don't play in shifts. We do 8 hours of streaming, maybe 10, 12 hours of streaming, depending on how we're feeling.
But that ends my Marvel Snap playing time, at least on this account.
And then I drive home, and I might play while I'm eating my dinner. Then I'll go to bed about 7, 8 o'clock, wake up at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, start playing till 5, drive over here, we start playing at 6, and that's the cycle. It's about 10 to 12 hours of gameplay a day, sometimes more depending on how much I'm feeling, how much I've got going on.
Yeah.
But it's easily 10 hours plus every day.
So Lex El Cuco says, just loving that their in-game name is Alfred.
It is.
Hold tight, Lex. We got a comment here, just add Shuri. Great card.
Popular comment.
Delusion says, destroyers of rank. Big ups, Delusion. Love you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Daniel Friedman says, the very top players hit an MMR pool where the game gives them nothing but bots that they can farm for 8 cube games forever. So there's a bit of an element of truth in this, and it's that the higher you get outside the MMR bracket of what's considered the top in
the top range, you do face against more bots. However, they're not free wins. They're not 8 cube games forever. No. Our high score, which we are very proud of, is 7 8 cube games back to back, but that was an absolute golden setup of circumstances. Sometimes they just be doing stuff that's unfair. We're talking Jubilee into Odin into whatever they need, and it's wild, man. You need to come to stream to see it.
But another point on this is that all across the ranks, you will always get bots. There are bots everywhere. We find them easier to identify because we play a lot of bots.
And it's much more obvious when we are playing bots because we've got the technology for it, and we know to an extent of how they like to play. But we can do another video. If you are interested in bot technology, just let us know in the comments and we will hook that up for you, no problem.
Yeah, we can explain all about bots another time. But the players that we do play against are the absolute top level of our region as well.
Which is EU West.
So Billy Brown says, I've gone all the way from 82 to 78. So we're going to skip over some of the more personal experience things, but there are some common themes as we scroll up this. So the interesting one here from Eggs. So hold tight, Eggs for sale, amazing content creator. This is ridiculous and not in a good way, she says. Let me preface this saying that this is an incredible feat considering the time and dedication put into reaching this milestone. But we need to talk about how broken the matchmaking system is.
It is.
So obviously with a little bit of bias, I don't really think it's the fact that we've got to a rank 1,000 which is the problem with the MMR, but there are some issues with MMR and the difference between that and what your rank is, which could be addressed.
Now, there may be a source of how it exactly works, but if there is, we're not aware of it. We've hollered for it a couple of times. We've asked for people how it works. Can you see your MMR? And it's just like to get an actual answer of how it all works would be great, but most of it is speculation.
Yeah. The bigger issue is that because MMR and rank aren't intrinsically linked, it can make a really bad playing experience for a lot of players, and it's a double-edged sword of the higher you go, the worse your gaming experience is, because we get more bots and we get really hyped when we actually do get human players, because it's like a rush to us, like that we actually get to face against the people again.
And the more you tank your MMR, the more likely you are to come against players that you shouldn't be playing against that are ranked a lot lower.
And this is giving people a really hard time who are just genuinely trying to climb, but coming up against people who have nothing to play for anymore, so are just sort of ruining the experience a little.
So it works both ways.
Chris coming back says, "Oh, so broken. My main concern is average players comparing themselves to this without understanding the broken system, and our viewers judging us and our rank by comparing it to this." So, really important point to note here is that nobody should be comparing themselves to anyone, especially content creators. Us, for example, we set out as a specific goal to get as high as we possibly could.
Aye.
But that's not a healthy way to play outside of content creation. You should be playing this game for fun at the end of the day.
And bear in mind, we are full sweat mode, no honor mode. We're doing every possible thing that we can within the TOS to get the best cubes out of players, to really push it forward. It's referred to as sweating, right? These guys are a couple of sweats. We are the sweatiest sweats to sweat.
But there is no way that you should be comparing yourselves or creators who put more effort into YouTube and things like that to players like us who are focusing more time than anyone else is into doing this climb. So whatever your rank is not a comparison point to us.
Yeah.
So Chris asks if we're predominantly playing bots, and yeah, it's a feature. It makes the playing experience worse, like we said, for higher ranked players. Egg says, "I'm in turmoil over how hard my climb has been, and I'm embarrassed to be struggling this hard." So just to point out directly to Eggs, do not be embarrassed about your climb, because it's totally different to our experience, and you're making awesome content, so there is no reason for that comparison to be made. Not a cultural fit says, "I love this game, but the competitor in me genuinely can't help but feel embarrassed when someone hits Infinite day 1, and I'm struggling even a week in. I hate to admit how grumpy a bad beat during climb makes me as a result." But yeah.
It's a personal experience, and bear in mind, it was never the intention to make anyone feel bad, be like, haha, we're here and you're there. Never anything like that. Me and Como looked at each other a couple of months ago and we said, we are going to push this as far as we possibly can. And that's where we're at. That was just our goal.
Yeah, it's fair to set yourself goals and enjoy your way there. So, J-Vault says their MMI is so high that there is no players to put them with, so to avoid long queues, the matchmaking as it works now puts those players to play against bots. So yeah, again, there's an element of truth to that. We do play against the best of the best players in our region, but yeah, it makes for a worse experience having to play bots all the time. So Christian Moretti says here, "I've also heard about strategies of tanking your MMR after you hit Infinite to get easier players after the reset." So as we touched on before, this is probably the biggest issue with matchmaking right now, is that the system allows for players to cheat really hard their MMR down to a place where they're making a worse experience from those who are newer to the game trying to climb.
So for those that don't know, once you reach rank 100, it's considered what's called a flaw, where you cannot go underneath it. However, your matchmaking points, they're hidden, but you can keep losing them and losing them and losing them and losing them. As far as we're aware, there's no point where you can't lose them until. So people start tanking games, lowering their MMR, and eventually they do start queuing into people, but these people might be rank 30, rank 40, and then they're getting, so it's not. Make of it what you will. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
But it's generally bad for the player base that people can tank like that, because we'd like to see more people getting into the game and having the ability to have a lot of fun with it, and this can make people feel bad or not want to play, which is why we don't like it.
Perhaps if there was an incentive past 100 to carry on going, even if it was just a leaderboard. But, even just something as simple as some credits, not even a load of credits, but...
Yeah.
Or a little badge or something for every X amount of levels, then people would carry on playing, and then more people would be higher level, and,
Yeah.
And we'd sort of get away from this issue, but...
There's also the idea of removing that flaw, so that if people get over 100, they can actually dip that back down below, and that would mitigate at least the idea of people tanking their MMR, but still being able to keep the rank right at the top.
There would be an outcry, though, as there is no casual mode, and it's widely considered in the community right now that once you reach 100, you are in casual mode.
Yeah.
Which might be the stem of a couple of problems, but I'm not a man with the squiggly doodlies that does all the back end stuff, that how the game actually works, and types in the random things and stuff happens on screen and that. So I don't know if that's hard or not, but you never know.
But the point is that maybe the game would benefit and the players would benefit from there being a casual mode that you could. Obviously, there's friendly battles, but maybe there should be something that's a bit more accessible to people who don't have people to play with, to make it so that you can go have fun outside of a ranked system.
Or maybe just multiple modes. So a lot of people get down about the hot locations and featured locations when they're trying to seriously grind. We said on stream, what if there was another ranked mode where every 8 hours with the card rotation in the shop, it was a hot location, but it was in 100% of games. And you could still have it ranked, you could have it casual, whatever, but that would alleviate some of the need to, at least what people feel like the need to get to 100 so they can chill out.
And it'd also give people more of an incentive to play after they've hit 100.
And different decks as well, different deck building, It's just an idea, you never know.
So we're just going to focus on the ones that are replying to the issues in the game. So JR Vault replying back about the accounts that tank has quoted this tweet, which says, it's just off screen, but I'll read it out for you. Today, Den CCG shared that 42% of games played by accounts that are CL 3000 plus and infinite rank using Agatha to tank MMR, and they probably get a much easier climb to infinite the next season. I hope Second Dinner does something about ranked in the next patch. Now, I completely agree with that. Players shouldn't be able to just use something like Agatha to tank their MMR because it's unfair. One thing to point out is that playing Agatha doesn't necessarily mean that you are trying to tank MMR, because some people do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And it's another element of, once you've gotten over 100, why have to try it? And you can have fun with decks like Agatha decks, but still,
yeah,
that shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be so built into the game that it's a strategy for a lot of people.
Just moving swiftly on.
Brian says there's no way I could play. Brian says there's no way I could play this deck at rank 80. I would get demolished. And again,
we touched upon that earlier. It's different decks at different MMR.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about it, just let us know in the comments and we'll go into it deeper. But we're trying to keep the video a little briefer.
So Melikamp says congrats to them, but so many box games take the real sense of accomplishment out of it. Yeah, I mean, if that's your opinion, fair enough. It doesn't take anything away from us, because we set out to do something and feel quite accomplished in having achieved it. That being said, we are open on stream, and I always have been, about the fact that we would rather be doing this against more human players. Even if there does have to be bots, we'd still rather it be more humans than not. And preferably, we'd love to see a rank system where there were no bots, but we're not sure how that works for the economy, so we're not saying that that's absolutely what needs to happen.
We're not a squiggly doodah, man.
It's just a preference that we would much prefer to have we'd have a better experience playing against humans, and we do when we get those streaks, which are really good.
It's important to mention though, because we don't know what the main aim of the game is. Because there's no source of what it's meant to be. Is it meant to be a party game? Is it meant to be an esport? Maybe nobody's just meant to play the game this much.
Yeah.
That might be a thing. But moving on anyway, we've got Nina Izanoup here replying with her profile saying that this matchmaking sucks.
So it's
the guys do know it's a problem.
Yeah, it's almost like seconding a no. Maybe they're trying to address things, but
there's no easy fix, and you're never going to please everyone. That's a key point as well. No matter what they do, somebody's going to be whinging somewhere that this is some bullshit.
Jurassic says, KM Best, your turn. So hold tight, KM Best. Absolutely love the guy. Amazing content creator. We know that he's consistently been one of the highest ranked in the world, so I don't think he would care to bother for 1,000 because
it's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't enjoy.
Yeah, and he's already making awesome content, so why would he bother?
So, moving on.
So, got a couple of personal experience kind of things here. Blue Jay saying here, can't get free 4 to 8 bots if it's a human-only ranked ladder. So that's a bit of a shared opinion that maybe that could be a good thing if there's a ranked version just for humans, maybe other modes for bots.
So yeah, a lot of people, everyone's got an opinion about how it could be fixed, right? But it is what it is at the moment.
Yeah, and the best we can do is try to get some community feedback, but we don't have all the answers.
Of course.
So, Muzaki says that the rank 60 to 90 real human enemies are the biggest tryhards ever. It's difficult to rank up and become stuck on those ranks due to hidden MMR ruining the matchmaking. So this is another point that sort of gets touched on quite a lot, is that the fact that the MMR and the rank are separate, but we're not allowed to see the MMR or have a real understanding of it, seems a little bit skewiff and can get people down about the experience of the game. Obviously, the main thing that we want is that more people can enjoy the game, more people have reasons to keep playing the game. So we don't like issues that...
especially at high level.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple more just personal experiences here. People saying every deck I play has got the counter.
Von Wafer says, when you have 2 people on one account, I mean, lol, I get tired playing now after 5 matches. So this is something that we do to keep the hype up for the stream and try and make our content better, is the fact that we can bounce off each other. And it definitely helps us to play more because we do get to keep the energy levels up. So I understand that.
You always have a better time when you got your best mates around you, you got your brothers around you.
Speaking of brothers, so tweet out from Jazarus says, you did it, boys. You hit rank 1,000 in Marvel. Congratulations. I always brag about the best players in the world being my boys. So hold tight, Jazarus. Amazing content creator. If you've not checked him out already, go and follow his Twitch, go and follow his YouTube. Best thumbnails in the game. Awesome dude.
We watch all his videos, even before we started streaming, and when we made his first videos, we tagged him and hold tight Jazz for checking it out. And we were absolutely fangirling. I was ringing Cobb, like, oh my god, Jazz is coming.
Jazz replied to us and we were like up at some stupid time in the morning like that. But yeah, Jazarus, awesome. And thank you so much for the kind words as well, Jazz. But one thing I do want to point out in his tweet is that he says that we're the best players in the world. We
never claim to be the best.
No, we are the highest ranked right now, but that does not mean we're the best.
We're the highest ranked last season as well.
But it's completely impossible to determine what actually makes the best player. We put a lot more time into it than a lot of other players, which is one of the reasons that our rank's so high. But I mean, you could argue that tournaments could determine who's the best, but you'd need some sort of
Super Bowl style
worldwide, everyone involved sort of thing. So I don't really think there is a best player in the world apart from Demo, who is 100% the best player.
He's Como.
He's the best player.
No, it's Como, man.
But yeah, hold tight, Jazz. So just getting up here, there's more people talk about personal experience, but this is one to point out, is that Paint by Pablo saying it shouldn't affect your mood, but it does. Even contemplated not playing anymore, then you chase those 8 cube losses, which leads to more stupid errors. So if you're trying to get your rank up you can't be thinking about it in a sort of roulette kind of way. Or maybe you should be thinking it in more of a roulette kind of way, because the odds of you being able to draw and win the next game aren't dependent on your previous games. You can't think, I've lost 8 cubes, therefore my next one needs to be an 8 cube plus and chase that back.
Because of the way the snap system works, it's easy to get lost in a gambler's fallacy, especially if people have never gambled before.
Yeah.
You think because I've lost X, I'm definitely going to get X next. But what it really is this the same odds every time, so you need to be taking the fresh head to each and every game, because when you're playing more aggressively, you're more likely to get put down for it, you're more likely to get punished for it, and it's going to feel worse. The counter punch always hurts more than the aggress, basically.
Yeah. So if it's looking like in your next game you're not going to be doing, you're still going to be losing that, whatever, just take each game as it comes, and be, if you're wanting to climb seriously, then be careful about your cubes in each game instead of letting the emotional side take over.
And if you do want tips and tricks on how what we use to climb, just let us know and we'll do a video on it, man, in the comments. Moving on.
So Stephen says, this game's so good though, I'm gonna cry happy tears in the ladder for the rest of my life. Hold tight, Stephen. Love for the game. Slow down, John. Just bigging up Eggs for Sale there, saying thank you for being so open about the struggle and all that. But yeah, all the love from here. So we've got a couple more personal experience.
Yeah, just a couple of retweets, a couple of likes.
Hold tight, Set Camper.
Yeah, hold tight, Set Camper.
So yeah, it seems like from what most people are saying is that the sentiments are very shared around the community. It's not just affecting the small amount of people who are complaining about it. There's probably a lot of people suffering in silence for the kind of things like the no flaw on the 100 and people taking advantage of that.
Got Safety Blade saying decks with Dracula destroy bots. Maybe yes, but maybe no though.
Yeah.
If you want more info, let us know.
An element of truth maybe, but yeah, if you guys want more information on how we the mindset of facing against people versus facing against bots is, let us know if you want that content, because we can put some stuff out about that.
Yeah, just a couple more personal experiences here.
So there's a take there that Getting to Infinite should be at least only humans against human players. Make the queues global already. It's a card game. So that is one take that you can definitely have. I'm not sure why the queues aren't global for it, but I guess that's more of a development thing.
Yeah, squiggly doo-dah man problem.
Some more personal experience.
Some reactions.
I'm just going to scroll up to the next comments. So sorry for the bad profile says, would you be willing to provide a statement? This is an addressed to Eggs for Sale. Willing to provide a statement for the matchmaking write-up I'm planning to post to Reddit soon that I could quote. These perspectives are important to capture. So, bad profile, if you want to quote us, as long as you do it accurately, feel free, man, go ahead. But yeah, we could do with getting a bit more of a conversation going around this. If you guys want to get involved, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know on Twitter as well. We'll keep the conversation going and hopefully get some improvements.
Or if by some wild miracle Ben Broad or any member of the second dinner team are actually watching this, if you've got any idea of a roadmap of where you plan on taking it, please let us know.
Yeah, and we'd love to get feedback directly with you guys as well, if there is anyone from Second Dinner out there.
You never know.
So that's more personal experience stuff. Stop playing as much. Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that, people saying that they've stopped playing as much, or saying that they're facing folks way above them. The attitude towards your opponents, just as a slightly different take, you should never think that just because someone's got a certain card back or a certain title that they are quote-unquote better than you at this game. Each game is a random draw of cards from a deck that you've made. It's all about establishing whether or not you've got what's best to face that opponent, and sometimes you don't. So save your cubes and stuff by tactical retreating, but don't ever go into a game thinking that just because there's a title that means it's an instant win for the opponent, because it's not. Jason says, I agree, but I want to see a Code Deco versus Collins DFP race to rank 1,000 next season. That's a funny take. To be honest, Jason, I don't think Collins really cares about what we're doing with our rank. But yeah, hold tight, Collins, great creator. And just to put it out there, we will not be racing to 1,000 next season because we want to venture into a different way of making content. Although we'll still be doing some sweaty grinding stuff.
Oh yeah, take it 200, 300, something like that. So a couple more personal experience bits.
Yeah, as Peaceful Sea giving the comment of it's kind of sad for the game. I mean, it's an opinion that you're allowed to have, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we've got Bick and Snap. This is just crazy. Hats off to you guys. Yo, shout out.
what a thumbnail that is.
Thank you so much for the tweet, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, big up yourself. So Milky, the one that actually brought it to our attention.
Yeah, so Milky was in our chat earlier, let us know that it was blowing up on Twitter. And this comment, I've read it earlier, and it absolutely hits the nail on the head. So, hold tight Milky every time. He says, I watch these lads a lot. They're incredible players. You can feel their frustration at versing bots and also their excitement when they are at a rare streak of versing real players. ELO matchmaking needs to be opened up, in my opinion, with bots being the fallback, not the go-to. So, absolutely love that he called us incredible players. Really love Milky.
Yeah,
Milky and his content, absolutely awesome. But this is something that we never hide on stream, is that it's frustrating to play against bots, especially when you're doing it a lot. We understand that everyone gets bots to a certain extent, but man, do we get excited when we get to play against player after player.
Yeah, it's something we're hyped about that should be a given, not a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be the way that the game is played and not we have to get excited for just getting what we wanted to get out of the game. So this comes back to that sort of double-edged sword. You're not rewarded for getting high up in the ranks unless you really care about the number of the pixels, because you get to have a worse playing experience. And similarly, it's dragging down those at the bottom or the middle tier of trying to rank up because other people are abusing the system by tanking their own accounts. So it works bad on both ends of the spectrum.
A quick mention as well, the shame when you queue into a real person after a long time and you're using one of your high MMR decks and they're using their absolute meta, top of the tier stuff, and you're like, don't look at me, don't look at me, putting out a 32 mode, don't look at me.
So this is something that we get all the time, is we have to try and configure our decks to be able to handle a mixture of being able to play a lot of bots, but also try to be competitive against human players. And it's two different ways of playing. So it's quite difficult. We'd rather know what we're getting into before we start queuing up.
Again, if you want to know more about the dance, just let us know, guys. But Bootsman replied there, it's kind of crazy they haven't addressed once you break away from the pack, you're just too good to play humans and face these garbage bots. Elements of truth to that. Are the bots garbage? I mean, calling the bots garbage because all bots are garbage, yeah, but I mean, these bots be pulling out some next level shenanigans, man.
Yeah.
Tune into stream to see it.
But yeah, the bots do some really cheat stuff, but they also throw games. It's a little bit of a duality. But he's right though, it's absolutely not addressed, and I think that's one of the concerning things.
Yeah, some more
so Solar just there, bigging up eggs for sale, absolutely right. Hold tight eggs.
Experience stuff, opinions, hot takes.
Legend there as well, saying that the rank doesn't matter, everyone loves you. Absolutely.
It really doesn't matter.
And this is the thing, like, set yourself targets if you want, but it's not about the rank, it's about having a good time playing the game.
Jason Snow there, of course, they're playing the degenerate Apoc Doc Cheese. Degen gang.
But yeah, it's great to be able to play a lot of different decks in this game and have a good time doing it. But I think, all in all, that wraps up all of the opinions.
Nally there saying it's still 1,200 games that you have to play, and all of them be 8 cubers to get to 1,000. And they very much were not all 8 cubers. It was many games. Probably a couple more than 1,200, if I'm being nice to us both.
Yeah, so if we'd have managed 1,200 in a row of 8 cubers...
Jesus.
Damn. But yeah,
I'd say-
the highest that we got to was 7 in a row.
7 in a row was our absolute best, and
Right.
that was a golden set of circumstances.
So it was a long old slog, and this just harks back as well to why you shouldn't be comparing what you're doing on the game to other people. Most people just do not have the time to play like we do,
Yeah.
which is why it's a whole different game. We just want the experience to be better for everyone doing their own thing on the game.
Say 1,200 games times 4 minutes. Not sure, long amount of time. Say 4 minutes is an average game. I might be under or overshotting it there, I don't know, but
But yeah, more people saying that it's busted that they're playing infinite players, even though their rank's quite a lot lower.
and they don't have any outs to the current meta decks.
Yeah.
But the best advice you can give to someone who doesn't have outs to the best meta decks is recognise that you don't have outs and get out of there yourself.
Yeah.
We move swiftly on.
Yeah, move into the next game and just treat every game as one cube at a time, unless you feel like you have the advantage, and try and push that advantage. So here's one from Dynasty here. It says, not to mention there is no forced update to the game. With the last set of nerfs and buffs, I didn't update my game for a week, and could continue to play against other players who didn't update, plus mostly bots. Jumped up 3 ranked tiers with minimal daily play.
That's outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous.
So just to point out, we've never done that, and we would not do that. When we say any means necessary, we mean we update the game on time. We don't tank MMR, but we just put a lot of effort into trying to win alongside everyone else.
If you need receipts and proof, it's for Steam update client.
Yeah.
All that jazz. You can check this. Jeez.
I mean, it's amazing to see
That's outrageous.
so blatantly out in public, just admitting that. But I mean, props to actually being honest and owning up to it,
it's
I
true.
guess.
It's true.
But yeah, that's one hot take.
That's a thing that needs addressing.
So yeah, if you get to Infinite, says Nally D, 2 pathways open to you. Grind a big climb to get your MMR into bot range, or tank your MMR into bot range. Obviously, neither works if a lot of people do them. And after the 160 push, the climb was so easy this season. So this is the thing, it's the double-edged sword where whether you go all the way up or all the way back down, it's causing issues on both ends. Like, we players don't want to be just in bot MMR because it's not as fun.
It's not. We've got so much time and actual money invested in the account, and we don't want to just play it on a. We do have the free-to-play account, mind. The free-to-play account does have a lot of time into it. It's around 2200 CL. We don't mind playing on that, but we often get asked, are you going to speed run from X to X? Now, we don't want people who are just getting into the game to have to face 2 super sweats, that know it.
Yeah.
I want them to enjoy the game. So,
but yeah, if you do want to see us, now that we've hit a rank 1,000, we've started playing more on the free-to-play account. So if you do want to see us talk about the tactics of the climb, how to retreat and all that good stuff, check us out on Twitch, because we'll be doing some more of that very soon, and also uploading some more content here.
yeah.
So we've got some more personal experience sort of stuff, and then
A few interactions there, and are we at the end of it there?
So yeah, just to summarise, just have fun playing the game, guys. It's not about the stupid number. We did it just as a target because we thought we could.
And we did.
But it's not to make anyone else.
It's not to take away from anybody else.
Yeah. There's amazing content creators out there. You guys are doing awesome stuff.
Like we're saying, 10 to 12 hours a day, every day, militantly. There's no days off. It's gameplay. Days we're not on stream, usually on weekend, I'm still playing. I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm still playing.
So yeah, hold tight everyone who's mentioned us as well. Thanks for shouting us out, and it's
Eating me dinner, I'm still playing.
but yeah, good to get some insight from the communities and possibly push towards somewhere where we can make the experience a bit better for the people who are currently suffering in the way that it's set up at the moment.
Feeding the cats, I'm still playing. We do it all. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you.
Really, really appreciate you. Catch you next time. See you on stream.